Yo, what is going on, guys? J.Yumeko here, and today we're back with some more Katawa Shoujo. Last time we left off, we got a little bit closer with Lily, and I mean, hey, she called us handsome. So, we are currently getting ready to go shopping with her for a present for Hanako, which I believe in Hanako's route, at the very least it felt like it took a lot longer to get to, but we did skip a lot of stuff. So, we may potentially skip over some stuff here, but if you want to see our little shopping, if we do skip over the shopping spree at least, and you do want to see it, then I highly recommend that you go and check out some of the previous Katawa Shoujo videos that we've done here, and check out Hanako's route more specifically, because that is where you are going to see that. So, without further ado, let's jump right on back into it. Boom, presents and presents. Alright, so after checking, yes, we do get some new stuff here, so this is not exactly the same. But I still highly recommend going and checking out Hanako's route. I'm just saying. Bored of standing in place and watching the television in a shop window, I pull myself away from the tacky display with little effort. After living at Yamaku, the city seems like an entirely different world. No running in the halls, calm and orderly conduct is to be used at all times in the classrooms. Students are to exit rooms after checking both directions for oncomers. Elevators are reserved for movement-impaired students. Single file on the stairs. Compared to such strict, almost regimental standards, the city's shopping arcade might as well be a strange country. While the school may have its fair share of hustle and bustle during the festival, the outside world is much different. It's strange. Having lived in a metropolitan city before my accident, this should feel more natural than Yamaku, and the surrounding town ever could. This should feel more natural than Yamaku or the surrounding town ever should. Yet it feels foreign somehow. The elevated walkways and tall buildings, each adorned with billboards taller than any three people, don't do anything to distract me from the passing crowd's reactions. Lily keeps one hand on my shoulder, the other holding her cane, which taps the ground with a metronome-like steadiness. Looking over to her, that neutral smile of hers still holds. Having only seen her in school uniform, I'd not have recognized her as she sat on a bench waiting for me to come, if not for her cane propped up against it and her distinctive hair. I can't tell whether they're glancing at her due to her height, her foreign looks, her obvious blindness, or all three. Not that any of those would make this situation any less uncomfortable than it is. I mean, let's be real here. Lily's a bit of a babe, and we're gonna bag her, baby. Do you have any ideas of where to look first, Hisao? Her soft voice breaks me out of my line of thought. I can't imagine that she's failing to notice the attention she garners, but she seems unfazed by it. I get the feeling she's the type who enjoys walking around outside, so she might just be used to it by now. Not really. This is my first time in this city, so I've got no idea where to go. She furrows her brow in thought, planning a route for us to take, and come to think of it, a way to communicate it. Sometimes, something I'd noticed in the time I've been with her is how, when deep in thought, she lacks close to any form of body language to show it. Her expression may change, but not a hint of movement shows. She seems to have little in the way of sweeping physical gestures in general, though, so I've assumed it's part of her reserved nature. Is there a large electronics store near here? I take a quick look around, mostly finding clothing stores. After a few seconds, I notice a store with a bright blue sign some distance away that fits her description. Yep, it's just a bit ahead of us. Should we go in that direction? Direction. Thankfully, it's just the information she needed. With a nod, we start off and head towards Lily's unknown destination, landmarks being our guide. Here you go. 1 vanilla, 1 chocolate. I hand the money over the counter and take the cones to the railing that Lily's sitting on. I can't believe I let her trick me into this. She not only led me to an ice cream stall, but also got me to buy her some. At least she gave me the money for hers. Sure enough, she's patiently waiting where I left her. I guess she was planning on making the day an event, rather than a simple shopping trip. I called out to her and slowly placed the vanilla cone in her outstretched hands, being careful to make sure that she has a good hold of it before letting go. At least her tastes are fairly normal. I was worried she'd ask for some weird flavor when she first asked. Here's the change. It's okay. Keep it. I moved to protest, but realized the futility of doing so over such a small amount. I slipped the coin into my pocket, supplementing my meager allowance ever so slightly. Lily shows no sign of wanting to get up, so I take a seat beside her and start eating my own ice cream. The summer weather's nice. Hopefully it'll hold out for a while. You too. I'm beginning to think I'm the only person who prefers winter. Hey, it's my girl! Bro, for me, I love winter. I think I like winter because of how quiet it is. Like, as somebody who works best in those kind of, like, quiet, you know, kind of dead environments, that's my kind of season right there. I contemplate her statement for a long moment. Yeah, I think you might be. It draws the intended reaction. She's cute when she's pouting. Still, I can't really imagine what's so good about winter. You can't go out without bundling up, and you still freeze anyway. I used to live further north, where there'd be plenty of snow to play in, so it's a little nostalgic. I don't like the heat very much either. At least you can wear a skirt, so don't complain about that. She gives an amused giggle as we both get back to finishing off our already melting cones. I idly sit and watch the crowds going by as we eat, catching bits and pieces of conversation. Looking to Lily, I see her dutifully licking her ice cream from the top downwards, blissfully unaware of the fact that it's beginning to melt. It's melting. Where? Down a bit? She lowers her mouth from the top of the cone, but has no idea of where exactly the ice cream's dripping. What follows is a game of guiding her left and right until she finally finds it. To any onlooker, it must seem absolutely bizarre. A girl with her eyes closed turning her cone over and over as the guy next to her gives instructions. A strange variant of childhood blindfold games, maybe. In good time, we finally finish our treats, and while away the time conversing casually. What? And while away the time conversing casually. And all the time... What? Okay, I don't get that. We're gonna skip by it. Caught mid-sentence, Lily perks her head in her trademark manner. It's an unmistakable sign that something's caught her attention. Ah. What is it? Is Akira somewhere over there? I think I heard her. I raise an eyebrow as I look in the direction she's facing, somewhat doubtful of her ability to pick up Akira's lone voice in the din. Sure enough, though, a blonde girl in a suit can be seen through the tiny gaps between people walking every which way. I raise a hand and wave, trying to catch her attention. Sato! Hey, Sato! She stops in her tracks and looks towards me, evidently noticing my calls. As she does, I notice someone walking beside her. I can't get a good look at whoever it is, though, before the two begin walking towards where we are. As they reach us, Lily and I stand and dust ourselves off. Akira? Hey, you two! She nods towards me, a gesture which I quickly return. My gaze shifts towards the young girl next to her, and our eyes meet. As they do, Akira plops a hand under her head, a move which doesn't seem to faze her. I don't believe we met. I'm Hideaki. Hideaki? Pleased to meet you, Hisao. A guy's name, huh? Guess I just dodged a bullet there. He bows, somewhat restrained by Akira's hand being on his head. I just gave him a girl's voice. He looks like a girl. He's dressed like a girl. Bruh, trap moment. Oh, Hideaki's here too. Are you well? Akira's been very good to me. Very good. Akira's been taking very good care of me. Thank you. Akira grins as if to affirm the point and rubs his head hard, dragging it around in a circular motion. His dreary face during this is somewhat amusing. Uncle's out on business again, so I'm just taking him around town for today. I'd prefer to be spending the day on a date with my boyfriend, but... Hideaki gives a cough to try and redirect Akira's thoughts. As he does so, though, I find my mind wandering. They're related? And further, as first cousins? I suppose that explains why she's taking care of him in any case. Come to think of it, Hideaki, how do you know my name? Akira told me. Being a Yamaku student, I suppose you're disabled in some way? Not everyone in Yamaku is disabled. Which I only learned a handful of days ago. I give silent thanks to Shizune and Misha for their stream of information about how the school works. Because of them, I found out that since the school will accept practically anybody suffering from non-mental disabilities, it doesn't discriminate against healthy people either. It seems unlikely that many in good health would enroll there, though. While the standard of education is pretty high, it's extremely isolated, very much focused on helping disabled students. You're dodging the question. Damn, he's sharp. Before I can say another word, though, he decides to take a stab at it himself. If I were to call it myself, your heart? Akira looks mildly curiously at me, Her interest piqued as well. That sure was a lucky guess. How did you... You show no missing limbs or deformities, so external disabilities are out. Considering the lack of any strange mannerisms, it's also unlikely that you'd have a mental disability. But Yamaku doesn't take mentally disabled students. I know. Leaving that aside, the only possibility left is of internal disabilities. I didn't know which one you might bear, so I guessed, correctly as it turns out, and your reaction confirmed my guess. More than a little bemused, I look to Akira. She grins and shrugs, obviously taking some enjoyment out of her partner's deductions. He's sharp, yes, but more than a little unsympathetic. Logical, but lacking in tact. His attitude reminds me of Shizune in a way, as do his looks. May I ask why you're staring at me? Surely I'm not that unusual a specimen. Does he not know how unusual he looks? I could overlook the spats and clothing as just being coincidental, but the ribbon in his hair is really too much. This is entirely beside the point, though. Sorry, you just remind me of someone else. Akira gives a sharp jab with her elbow. Told you you're not that much different from her. He coughs into his hand to try and maintain an upright and serious demeanor. I see you've met my sister then. Perhaps my full name might help you. I'm Hideki Hakamichi. You're probably thinking of my sister, Shizune Hakamichi. Oh, so he's Shizune's brother. Wait a minute. If Hideaki is the son of Akira's uncle, and Shizune is his sister, then that means Lily and Shizune's fathers are brothers-in-law. Therefore, Lily and Shizune are first cousins? Lily groans in an uncharacteristically unrestrained manner. The reaction earns an amused smirk. I can't speak! Alright. Speaking mode activated right now. Lily grins in an uncharacteristically unrestrained manner. The reaction earns an amused smirk from her sister. The enmity between the two just took on another meaning. I thought it simply a matter of difficulty of communication between the two, but a family feud makes things much more complicated. You can choose your friends, but you can't choose your family. She gives a half-hearted shrug. She mustn't give as much weight to the two's conflict as I do. Well, that's how it is. What are you two up to anyway on this fine day? We're shopping for Hanako's birthday present. The day will be coming up soon, so this is the last chance we'll have before school starts again for the week. Akira makes a strange face, as if Lily had just said that the sky wasn't blue and the clouds not white. Isn't her birthday on the 10th next month? Yes, why? Is something wrong? Akira's face seems to collapse. It's an utterly unbefitting expression for someone so rowdy and headstrong. The folks didn't call you yet? As Lily shakes her head cluelessly, I look at Hideaki to see if he knows anything about this. A simple shrug is his only answer. For a moment, Akira ponders what to do before smiling once again. The fact that she can hide her emotions so quickly and effectively is unsettling. Hey, Shorty. Sorry you couldn't hang out with... but could you hang out with Hisao for a while? He nods and waves her off, Akira placing an arm on Lily's shoulder as she guides her away and out of earshot. And so, I'm alone with Shorty. So, nice weather, isn't it? It seems so. I guess they dumped us. Indeed. What a farcical attempt at small talk. I've got no idea of how to talk to this guy, and his robotic responses aren't helping. Blood and a stone come to mind. Without another word, he begins to rock on his feet in an obvious gesture of boredom with this discussion. He really is a little kid, despite his serious demeanor. Suspecting the conversation over, I decide to accomplish what I came here to do in the first place. I'm gonna go search for a present. Coming? Not much else to do. In a little while, we come to a small shop beside a convenience store. For once, the store windows aren't filled with electronics and computer games, but dolls, stuffed bears, and all manners of woodcrafted oddities. Othello's Antiques. An antique store? Well, if there's anything in this town that'd suit Hanako, I guess it'd be here. I reach for the old-looking door handle, but pull back at the last minute as I realize my companion's gone adrift. Not coming in? I'll just be in the newsstand for a while. Don't mind me. His voice makes it painfully clear he has zero interest in what's in the store, and that he doesn't feel obligated to follow me. As he wanders off without another word, I push the thick wooden door and enter the store, a bell above me ringing out. The musty smell of old books and wooden shelves is distinctly anachronistic. I look to the counter beside the door. The graying man behind it sits there silently, reading a tattered book. He certainly fits the look of the place. Slowly wandering through the aisles, the person I'm reminded of as I inspect each handcrafted or imported oddity in turn is in Hanako. Crouching down, I examine the ancient oak desk inside the shop window. At least 30 dolls, all varying widely in their size and make. The only similarity between them is the long Victorian dresses they wear. I turn the price tag of one that looks to be about waist height. It's not in my price bracket. At all. I do the same to each of them, getting more and more depressed as they get smaller and smaller in size. That is, until I reach the very smallest one. It's affordable, just yet of quality make, and with long auburn hair and a little blue dress. I decide that it's the kind of present Hanako would appreciate, pretty looking, and far from gaudy. After I carefully pick it up, I decide to keep looking around the store. I'm not sure whether it's because I like the atmosphere or out of simple curiosity. Peeking around the corner before I go to the next aisle, I see that the shelves in this one are stocked with wooden toys, from toy cars to intricate automatons. Tucked behind a line of nutcrackers, I notice a little plain wooden box. It feels surprisingly light as I pick it up with my free hand. The lid needs the smallest movement to pop open, the little metal drum inside beginning to rotate immediately. For seconds on end, I simply stand there listening to the palm-sized melody. As it plays, I take the tiny price tag in my fingers and bring it up to my face, the minuscule cursive writing taking some effort to read. It's affordable. Sort of. Grimacing slightly, I close the lid and make my way to the counter with doll and music box in hand. When I lay the two on the counter, the old man behind it sits up and takes stock of them. He doesn't hide very well his surprise at someone of my age buying them. It's painful, but I hand over the money for the two and leave the store with a small opaque bag in my hand. Hideaki being there takes me by surprise. Oh, hi. I thought you'd be at the newsstand.
Akira gave me a call. She's waiting for us at the fountain with Lily.
At least that solves the issue of trying to find him again. We head off back to the fountain. Hideaki's immaculate posture and presentation, despite his appearance, makes for a strange contrast even as we walk. Lily and Akira stand there waiting for us. Their faces hard to read.
Hey, ready to go, shorty?
Hideaki's mood seems to improve as he rejoins her.
See you, Lily. Hisao. Tell Hanako I said happy birthday.
We will. Bye. Well, that sounded dead. We will. Bye. Like, damn.
Goodbye, Akira.
And with that, the two disappear into the fracas of the afternoon city crowd. Turning to Lily, I notice she's carrying a small bag. It's now that I realize why her disposition felt different from before. While Lily's typically the type to wear her emotions on her sleeve, her expression and tone are clouded and difficult to read. It's more than a little off-putting, but given the effort she's making to hide her emotions, I doubt she wants to be cornered on why she's feeling this way. Already bought Hanako a present?
Yes. Have you?
Yeah.
Shall we head back to the bus stop then?
Okay, there should be a bus back to Yamaku pretty soon. And with that, we begin to walk. It feels strange compared to before. Lily's hand on my forearm feels unusually tense, and the whole atmosphere is extraordinarily awkward. The silence continues for a long while. I really don't like seeing her like this.
Hanako's birthday party is going to have to be held earlier. Is the 4th going to be alright for you?
I have no other possible obligations anyway, so I reflexively nod. Only afterwards do I remember that doing so is pointless, and quickly answer so by speech. She tries to collect herself, a task that looks almost pitiable on how plain it is to see how distant her thoughts are.
Sorry, Hisao. You said the bus would be coming soon, right?
That's right. But now that she says that, I have an idea. Actually, do you have anything to do later today?
I don't believe so. Why do you ask?
This is the point where I'd normally take your hand and rush you somewhere, but even without that, you'll have to trust me, okay? I take her hand and gently lead her on, her distant face replaced by one of mild surprise and curiosity. Ah, here we are. As the waitress sets the cup of tea and cup of coffee that I'd ordered on the table, I thank her before she takes her leave. Truth be told, I really lucked out in finding this cafe. I don't really know where I was going. Rather, I was just looking for any cafe that looked relatively nice. Having managed to recover a little, Lily tentatively sips at her cup as I take a long gulp of the coffee in front of me. As I hoped, her face lights up and she realizes what flavor it is.
Ah, this is wonderful. Isao, how do you know this was...
I'd asked for French vanilla black tea, hedging my bets that it would be her favorite flavor, or at least one she liked. While I don't know much about tea, it sounded like one she might appreciate, on the basis of her liking vanilla ice cream. A tea connoisseur I am definitely not. It was a lucky guess. You really like tea, don't you? She puts her teacup down and gives a tiny nod. That familiar small smile thankfully perched on her face once again.
Drinking tea is calming, I think.
With the amount you drink, are you sure you're not addicted to it? Caffeine addiction is pretty common nowadays.
Did I ever say I wasn't?
She lets out a giggle as my head drops. We all have our vices, I suppose, and there are worse things to be addicted to. French vanilla black tea, huh? I'll have to remember that. For a while, we both silently drink. It's comforting to have someone like her nearby in such new surroundings, even if it's just the two of us sitting in silence. I begin to wonder if this feeling is the same for her, until she sets down her cup.
Isao, do you mind if I ask you a slightly odd question?
That depends on the question, I guess.
I was wondering what your favorite color is. Everyone has one after all.
I almost reply before realizing why the seemingly mundane question is actually quite strange. My favorite color, but... She gives a pouting look, wanting me to answer anyway. While the answer seems unavoidably wasted on her, there isn't any harm in giving it. I've always had a thing for green. I'd say that's my favorite.
Green, is it? What things do you think of when contemplating that color?
I suppose grass fields and trees in summer. The army as well, with camouflage.
Men always seem to like the military. But that sounds like a nice color. A very nice color.
She nods her head a little, as if approving the choice. Considering how foreign the concept of color is to her mind, labeling it by association seems reasonable enough. If everyone has a favorite color, then what's yours?
White. I'm told it's the color of snow, and of ice cream.
You know better than me, then, if you only like that color because of a favorite food. I guess white is nice too, though. And speaking of colors, it'll be getting dark soon. Let me help you up. Lily offers her hand, which I take in mine to help lever her up from her seat at the table. Its softness compared to mine takes me off guard, as I'm really not used to such casual contact. It doesn't seem to bother her at all, though. While it seems obvious why, it feels like just one more ladylike aspect to her. As her hand moves to her pocket, I quickly cut her off. Don't worry, I'll pay for this.
Oh, thank you, Hisao.
She gives an earnest smile at the gesture, a reward much greater than that of her words. By the time we step off the bus, it's well and truly dark. We make our way up the hill in silence, both of us behaving a little awkwardly, probably because of the day's events. While I'm still concerned over Lily's withdrawn nature after meeting with her sister, the fact I managed to cheer her up even slightly feels like a personal victory. But it feels like the air between us has changed. Maybe it's only a bit, but it's something I don't think either of us realized before.
That was a date, wasn't it?
It was. That doesn't elude either of us, the question's answer being so self-evident as to be rhetorical. Awkward as it may be, I don't think this feeling is bad. In fact, quite the opposite. I don't know what it is. I certainly can't be sure, but it feels like something a little more than friendship. Understanding? Empathy? Searching for words to adequately describe it is difficult. Nonetheless. Would you like to do this again sometime, Lily? Without shopping for presents? The tentative question is met with the same look from Lily's before. Her pale skin makes the rosy tint of her cheeks just slightly more noticeable, and her face, though still pointed to the street ahead of her, lowers. Just a little.
Okay. Hey!
Hey! Alright, we're gonna go ahead and save there. Hold up. We're gonna return here. Alright. We are going to save. Oh, wait, where are we? Hold up. We'll go on a little bit further. Well, maybe not. I don't know what we're going to. I don't know what we're going to. So we're gonna save here. We're gonna save here. All right. Main menu. Let's go. Okay, I gotta say, like, I think out of Emmy and Lily's route, or not Lily's, but Hanako's route, I mean, out of those two routes, Hanako and Emmy's route, just like that little fucking scene there, just that was adorable. That was absolutely adorable. You know, because like I think with Emmy, I kind of forget like what the whole I come to the realization of this was. Because all I really remember about that one was just like, hey, sex. Oh, you know, here's me opening up to you about how my father died and how this is the end, like the anniversary of his death. Let's go back to school and have sex now. End of story. You know, and then Hanako's was obviously like, oh, hey, I have super complex feelings for you. And at the climax of the story, we're gonna finally, you know, just face each other and blurt it out kind of thing. But this one was really like cute, you know, you're walking back and then he's like, that was a date, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Would you like to go out again? Oh man.
That was just so cute. That was just so wholesome. All right, we're gonna end it off on that one. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like on it and let me know in the comment section below what you'd like to see me play next. If you'd like, oh my god, I can't speak. If you enjoyed this video or any other videos or series on my channel, then I highly recommend that you hit the subscribe button and turn on post notifications so you'll be notified when one of those videos comes out. Anyways, that's it from me, and I'll see you in the next one.